Any questions? Yes.
My question is really very simple. Why would the public sector?
Without a thriving public sector, the economy can only go so far. We have hundreds of millions, billions of funding directed to healthcare, to education, to all of those things. I look at that as water being poured into a basket. Because if you don't have the solid foundation of the public sector to actually drive and implement those programs, all that money is being wasted.
Africa is a very intelligent continent, highly resourceful. But the problem we've always had is getting the human resources to manage the material resources for the benefit of all. And I think what this program is doing is helping to not only change the mindset, but give them the capacity to deal with challenging conditions, which is what they meet every day in the field of work as a public servant.
And I think by running the program, it's obvious that many public servants actually do not lack capacity. They're very capable people. What they need is exposure, encouragement, and to be trusted to do fantastic work.
Facilitating has been particularly easy this week because everyone is so eager to bring ideas to the table and to discuss. They're lively and warm and engaged, and I learn a lot from them as well because it's clear that they lead by example in their organizations and that that's really powerful.
The one thing that I have learned is that you are probably as smart as I am. Some of you are definitely smarter than me. If you are smarter as me or smarter than me, I think the more important thing for me to do is inspire you to look for the answers yourself. And as you find each answer, all right, you will then find that what you are looking from me is no longer answers, but more inspiration.
The in-country program is unique and really useful because it gives us all the chance to get together for an extended week, which allows for more spontaneous conversations and building relationships, which really helps everyone to continue to build on what they've learned here as they go forward from this week.
At the conclusion of their cohort of their program, we constantly are in touch with them to find out how their projects are going, what challenges they're facing, and how the foundation can support them in putting these projects forward. Among our alumni, we have amazing stories of people who have gotten promotions, commendations, and even scholarships abroad as a result of their project completion. In not so distant future, maybe have 2 cohorts in a year because we want to ensure that people who are within the system and have an appetite for change, for transformation, are empowered to do so.
Look in the mirror every morning, look at yourself and ask yourself, am I being the best I can be?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, a warm welcome to everyone joining us. Okay. A warm welcome to everyone joining us across Africa. Welcome to the live Q&A session for the 2024 AIG Public Leaders Programme. My name is Damilola Bakari and I work at the Aig-Imoukhuede Foundation as the communications analyst. And at the foundation, we have a vision to close the gap between Africa and the rest of the world. So we would recall a time in history, particularly in the 1970s and the 1980s, when the Nigerian economy, could confidently compete with prominent economies of the world. But as of now, we'll see that we're a far cry from where we used to be. We are not where we were as at that time. And so a close look at this period shows that this period, which we always refer to as the glory days, coincides with a time when the African public sector was at its best, at its peak, where we can say the African public sector was highly performing. So, and this is proof of our theory of change alongside several other statistics. It shows that a public sector that is thriving, a public sector that is highly performing, serves as a baseline for socioeconomic development in any country. So when you want to push change, when you want to push development in any country, you work on the public sector. So we believe that once we're able to get the public sector right in Africa, then Africa is on the path to development. And so as a result, we have several initiatives at the foundation with which we drive the change that we want to see, because we believe that we cannot sit down and wail and consider the glory days. What we want to do is come into the scene and try and marry what we have now with what can be, what should be. So in driving this, we have different initiatives, one of which is the AIG Public Leaders Programme. So during this session, we would have our alumni relations manager, Nelly. She will speak a lot more about the AIG Public Leaders Programme. And then after which we will now have the panel session. We have beautiful panelists here with fresh and insightful wealth of wisdom, of experience that they are willing to share. So they are willing to give quality answers to whatever questions you may have about the application process or even the program experience itself. So once we are done with the panelists, we'll now begin to take your questions. So whatever questions you have, really, I mean, you can then begin to shoot your questions at us. So now I would hand over to Nelly. Before I do that, I would want to implore every one of us to please, I mean, as many people that you believe should be on this session right now, begin to tag them, let them know that they have to be here. Whether they've started the application process or they're in the process, or whether they've started or they haven't even started at all, this is the place to be for them to learn tips as to how to stand out during the application process so that they can get selected for the program. So Nelly, you have the floor now.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Delve in a bit about the foundation. The Aig-Imoukhuede Foundation is a public sector focused philanthropic organization that was founded by our chairman, Aig-Imoukhuede, and their wife, Ofowe Aig-Imoukhuede. And the foundation is with a vision to improve the lives of Africans through a transformed public service delivery and also improved access to quality primary health care, starting with Nigeria. And part of the efforts of the foundation, like Dami had mentioned, to transform the public sector is our capacity building initiative. And one of them is the Public Leaders Program, which is delivered in partnership with the University of Oxford Blavatnik School of Government. This course is delivered to public leaders, and it is aimed at equipping them with knowledge, with skills that they need for a rapidly changing world. The course curriculum is very tailored, delivered in the best way. It offers them world-class education experience. You would be hearing from some of those who have gone through these courses, and even from the testaments that has been shared from those who have gone through the program. Their stories has never been the same. They have changed. They've gone on to receive promotions. They are doing laudable projects, and they are driving a lot of reform initiatives in their various organizations. So this program is something that will spike a change, your desire to see Africa become like it used to be. In Dami's introductory speech, he talked about how in the past, Africa or Nigeria could measure with other developed countries. However, today we can hardly still claim our place, especially Nigeria, as a giant of Africa. So this program would actually stir a desire to see a transformed public sector that is performing better. And need I tell you, it is tuition free. The foundation offers it to anyone who is willing to sign up for the course, tuition free. And that doesn't mean that it comes for free. But like we said, the foundation is philanthropic, and therefore the cost is being borne by the foundation. And this program is available and open to anyone who is within the grade level 12 and is in the public sector, but you must be from an English-speaking African country. You must have spent a minimum of 7 years in public sector and must be actively involved. And the last of the criteria, do not exceed the age 50. We want to raise global leaders who will drive this change, who will continue to ensure that they do what is needed. They pay the price to reenact or to bring Africa back to where it should be. As you will listen to this, please do not forget, try and ensure that those who are supposed to be on this program are on it. And those that need to apply, you should stay tuned because all the questions and concerns you have about the application process will be attended to. Thank you very much, Dami.
Thank you, Nelly, for that very succinct yet exhaustive account of the Public Leaders Program. So we'll now move on to introduce our panelists. Their beautiful faces, they are ready to take all of my questions. So we have Mr. Ibrahim Madu. Ibrahim Madu is the flight instructor helicopter for Ministry of Defense, Nigeria Navy. Mr. Ibrahim, can you please say hi to the audience?
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here this afternoon. It's an honor and privilege, and I look forward to a productive afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, we also have Caroline Kendago. She's the Senior Principal Magistrate, the Judiciary of Kenya. Hi, Caroline, can you please say hi to the audience?
Hello, hi everyone. I'm happy to be here. Greetings from Kenya.
It's nice to have you. Okay, and then finally we have Ayodele Ajayi. So Ayodele Ajayi graduated from his cohort with the award of the best Capstone project during his set. He's the Technical Director, Special Committee of Public Schools, Lagos State. Ayodele, can you please say hi to the audience?
Everybody, I'm glad and humble, filled with humility to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I understand that the AIG Public Leaders Program, at inception was majorly focused on Nigerian public sector workers. But recently we opened it up. We increased the horizon to welcome applications from all across Africa. So coming from Kenya, Caroline, do you want to explain to us how you came across the program and why you'd even apply for the program?
Thank you very much. Greetings, everyone. I learned about the program, the AIG Public Leaders Programme, through a mentor who is undertaking a PhD at the University of Oxford, and he was familiar with the program. When he mentioned about it, first of all, I didn't know that it was open to any country within Africa. So when when we were exchanging and he was telling me about the program, we also weren't very certain about the fact that it would be open to anyone else beyond Nigeria. I visited their website and I got a lot of information. In fact, it generated quite even a bigger interest about the program. I found everything that I needed to know about what the course is about, what is the target audience, what are you expected in as a fulfillment of the program. I could see and made it also very easy for me to plan in terms of the well-laid outline and the expectation of the academic period right through from the online sessions to the ones that are physical. So by the time I was coming in and even making the applications, it was easy to make a projection and of course, crossing my fingers, and I'm very excited that I was successful in the program. What interested me about the program for me to visit the page and the conversation that I had with my mentor was generally conversations around growth of officers who are at administrative level, while at the same time juggling in with other tasks. I serve as a magistrate with the Kenya judiciary, but I am also performing administrative functions. So which then means that I would have to, aside from the court work, I needed to also build my capacity on administration. So I had undertaken quite a number of programs back home here in Kenya with the Kenya School of Government, and I could relate with how important it is to undertake such a program. I managed to get the quick update and the application procedure, which, as much as it was intense, was very straightforward. And here we are. I am an excited graduate of cohort 3. Back to you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. So, I mean, that just reiterates the fact that all across Africa, once you're in a English-speaking country, you can apply for the program. The program is open, and if you're on the call now and you know public sector workers that other countries aside Nigeria, please, I mean, send them the link. Let them begin to apply. It's not too late to start their application already. So going on, Ibrahim Madu, I would want you to describe what your experience was like during the selection process. So I know you applied and then there were several levels of the selection process. So what was the experience like for you?
So for me, my experience applying for the program, I would say first, it was an excellent experience for me, even though it was really, really, really rigorous, not as I expected it. Because having come in contact with the advertisement on LinkedIn, I decided to apply. I came up with all the requirements that were requested for, and I submitted. I didn't envision that there will be several steps to be taken before the final selection will be made. So I was always kind of surprised that maybe once I get an email, it's informing me, oh, you have passed this stage, you're going up to the next stage, as the case may be. And then one thing I also noticed about the various stages, they were not like the same thing. I think, not like I think I know the foundation was looking for certain requirements and looking for the best candidates to be selected. And one thing I had in mind, or one thing that kept on ringing in my head when I was applying and going through the application process, was that it was only 50 slots for civil servants across Africa. So when you imagine the number of civil servants all over Africa and it's like 50 slots, one cannot really be so confident or so sure of himself. But it was like, oh, okay, let me do it. And then coupled with my own job, being a military man, I know that my application process, I have had the course to like kind of attend to the various stages in different locations. Because sometimes I am maybe in one location carrying out my own primary responsibilities, and then I get to receive the email. And then sometimes I'm even almost like scared that maybe I must have missed the timing, because due to my own duties and responsibilities, I may open my own email and then see maybe the email came like 5-10 hours ago and all that. But somehow I kept on. What motivated me to keep on going was, first of all, the communication was excellent, because I discovered that I was being carried along at every stage. I was being updated on everything. And then I also realized that the way the process was really rigorous, it made me to understand that actually the foundation was really willing to select the best people or the best candidates for the program itself. And one thing I also discovered along the examinations and some of the things I was required to do was that they were to look at or kind of get me to showcase my problem solving abilities. So it was not like the basic theoretical questions that you expect from your day-to-day kind of professional work. Because when I got the email about the like the test and all that, I was wondering what subject and what have you. And then going through the exams itself, the theoretical aspect or the objective question itself, it was kind of left me kind of wondering, because the questions were kind of like practical case studies, I think, as I may call it that way. And then so the whole idea again is that I was also confident about the foundation, because going through the selection process, it made me actually to have more faith and to be more interested in the Public Leaders Program, that it is not just a Public Leaders Program that maybe is just on the poster or on the flyer, but it was something that was both in the advertisement and the act itself. It was gone in for quality, and the foundation was true to its objective. So the whole experience for me was an amazing one. The communication was excellent. It was very, very rigorous. It actually tested me to I say, to my wit end, but I'm glad I was able to make it through. And then it was not also an everyday experience that one could get, because at inception, when I submitted my application, I thought that was the end of it all. But then I was made to pass through all those things. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I didn't have to call anybody. It was purely based on merit. And at the end of the day, it made me to really, really appreciate my spot in the program, and also to encourage me further to be able to soak up whatever learning I got throughout the whole program. So my experience was really, really amazing, and I say it was a fantastic one to me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the very detailed response. So I think two things I picked out from his response is the fact that the program is based on merit. So once you show your passion for public sector, once you show that you have got what we want to see, I mean, you already have like an automatic slot for the program. And he also mentioned the fact that the test did not look out for your day-to-day activities or your day-to-day skills, but your problem-solving skill, because the essence or the aim of the program is to build change agents, really, people that seek to drive change. So we want to see how sound is your problem-solving skill, because really that's like our focus. Okay, I'd also speak to the fact that, so he said it was a surprise that there were like different levels or different stages of the assessment. So once you visit our website, we have the different stages and the deadline for each. So you are prepared, you know when the essay is coming up, when there's a video interview and all of that. So you're not shocked at the different interview or the different emails you receive rather. Okay, so next we would have Abiodun Yusuf. So you just give us like an overview of what you think that a quality application should look like for the program. So for the AIG Public Leaders Program, because I mean, you've gone through the process, you sent in your application, you got selected. So, I mean, you'll be in the best position to give us an overview of what a quality application that stands out looks like.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. To answer your question, I'll first and foremost like to say that as an applicant, you need to know that you are contending with quite a number of people. I mean, very many people, not just from Nigeria, but other African public services. And and we are talking about not just maybe a particular level of government. We are talking about public servants from different levels of government, from different African countries, who are as brilliant, as experienced, as intelligent as you are. And bearing this in mind, you need to know that you must put forward your best when you're writing your essays. In your essays, there shouldn't be unnecessary ambiguity or too much long stories. You should be concise and precise. Your essays should portray who you are as a civil servant or a public servant. Now, it should show your core values, and it should also show your desires and aspirations for the public service in terms of effectiveness, efficiency, and integrity. Then, aside that, bearing in mind that this is a purely merit-based selection process. There's absolutely no external or internal influence. Whatever you do is purely your doing, and whatever happens is purely based on what you have put forward. If you need to go do some research, like in my own case, bearing in mind that it had been a while I took any aptitude test, and I realized that I needed to do some brushing up in order for me to be able to be at board with what I was doing. So I did a bit of some training, some practicals on how to answer aptitude tests and all that. And it actually helped me, because there I am, I was eventually selected. So if you need to do some training, some practice to help you, you should go ahead and do that. Another thing you should bear in mind is you should be time conscious. don't wait till the last moment before you submit your write-ups, because at the foundation, at the program, time is of essence. And when you do your submission on time, it gives you opportunity to dot your I's and cross your T's. And the way the foundation works is that if the timeline for submission of a particular write-up is 2 o'clock, I can bet you if you do yours, if you submit if you make your submission a second after that time, you would not be able to submit, because by then you will have been locked out of the platform. You can't even access it. So time is of essence. You must do your things. Don't wait till the last moment, so that you'll be able to tackle any unforeseen issues you are encountering. Also, in the process of your application, if you are having any issues, the foundation staff are always there. They are available. All you need is send a mail to them, and a response will be given to put you through if you are having any other issues. So basically, those are the things I think you need an applicant needs to bear in mind when you are doing your application. You must project yourself. You must show that, yes, you have leadership qualities that qualify you to be a member of a part of the program. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, at this point, I'm really jealous of potential applicants, because it feels like you have all the tips now, and then you can now stand out amongst your peers. Okay, so back to you, Ibrahim Madu. What do you think that future applicants can do to make their application stand out? I know that Abiodun Yusuf had given, a lot of tips, but what extra tips do you think stood you out? Amidst the public.
Okay, thank you for your question. I think when I look at my own application, first of all, let me continue from where the previous speaker said that the applicants are privileged to have all these information given out to them. So for me, when I saw the advertisement, I think I just had this passion. I have this passion for leadership, not just because of just knowing leadership as per theoretical. I'm in the military, just like everyone else. I believe every day we face a lot of challenges, both in our homes, in the school, in our office, wherever we are, that we believe with right leadership, the solution can be provided. So I was really, really burdened about enhancing my leadership skill. And being in the military as a young officer, or a lot of people might think that because you're in the military, automatically you are a leader. But I know those of us in the military, what we have is command. Command is authority. Command is position. Is something that is given to you. But leadership is a skill that needs to be learned. So for me, growing up in the military through the ranks, I discovered that, yes, I have learned one or two things about leadership, but I know that what took me from point A to point B will not necessarily take me from point B to point C. I'm going through the ranks, so I have to kind of learn leadership as I'm growing. So when I put up my own application, coupled with my own busy schedule as a military officer, yes, I didn't take my time to look at the criteria, the basic steps of application, as the case may be. I just submitted my application. Halfway, I felt, I'm a military man, maybe it may not be considered anyway. Just throw it and then just do it and all that. So, but when I submitted my application, when it came to my essays and my personal statement, the truth is I wrote from my heart. I allowed my personal statement, I allowed my essay to tell my story. I was being authentic. I wasn't out there to paint myself to be like, I'm perfect, as the case may be. Because I've come to understand that if I were to be perfect and I have all the leadership skill, then I won't have need for a public leaders program. So I came from a position of, this is where I am, I need to learn more. In terms of writing my own CV, I didn't fill up my CV with all my unnecessary information, military courses I have done here and there. Being a helicopter pilot, I have done a lot of courses, as the case may be. But the question is, all this information, how does it add to the value or quality of my CV? So what I needed to do was to cut down all the unnecessary information, because some of the military jargons or some of the helicopter things I'll put, I'm sure if anybody picks it up, we will not understand anything. So what I did was to just ensure that the information I put there was the one that will get me selected. So I was being authentic. I wasn't really moved about who was applying, who was not applying. Yes, I had it in mind that it was 50 slots for 50 people. But I also had the confidence that my passion should be able to get me through. So when I did my CV, did my own essay, the next thing was to do what? Follow the instructions. Yes, I would say I would have missed out because of the various steps. I didn't follow that instructions, but I am also aware, and what I did was through the various stages of exams, whenever an email comes, there are instructions that were given for us to follow in order to like do the test, come up with a video, even your personal statement, the word limitations and all word limits and all those things. So what I did was to follow instructions to the latter. I'm a military man. Following instructions should not be a problem to me. So it just came as per second nature. Then after writing all my essay and everything, I didn't just write my essay and then submit, even though, yes, I was very, very busy. I was moving about. My job takes me, like as a military man, I can be here now. In the next 10 minutes, they'll be like, well, pack your things. Let's move to this place. Well, let's go here. But after writing my essay, and one thing I've also learned is not just to submit, but to give it to somebody else to proofread it, to edit it. Because I know that whenever I submit a document that is filled with grammatical error, typographical error, it says a lot about my person. I might be wearing the big rank, but I'm submitting something that somebody will look at it and is like, oh, is it this person? It doesn't tally. There must be something wrong somewhere. But now I'm competing with 49 other people. I need to, just like the previous speaker said, I need to put my best foot forward. So what I did was give it to somebody else, proofread, okay, write my essay, leave it for a day or two, come back to it. Does it make sense, as the case may be? So these things, I believe if future applicants can follow through, I think it will help make their own applications to really, really stand out. And this was also my own experience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So following instructions, being authentic, really, because we've had situations of people trying to buff up their CV, trying to be what they are not. Really, it's a training ground, it's a training program. So we want to see you the way you are, so we can know if you are material, if you are good material for us. And then also he mentioned that only put information that is relevant to the program. So military jargons and all of those information that you don't think is really pertinent to, or pertains rather, to a leadership program, a leadership training, shouldn't be included. And also he said to proofread. I mean, after you are done with your application, you should also show that people to ensure that you're sending in, a perfect work. Okay, Abiodun, we are coming back to you. So I just want to, I would want you to shed light on some of the things that you gained during the program. So, I mean, did the program really impact your work, your outcomes, your way of thinking? What really do you think you gained from experiencing the training program?
Okay, let me first say that I see myself, I am a completely transformed public officer now. The number one thing I gained is effective time management, because you bear with me that all through, right from the application process period, through the sessions, the training, until the graduation period, if there's anything the program was a stickler for, it was timing. And that has really helped me. It has transformed it to a better time manager. We know that, at least in Nigeria, which I know is likely to be the same for other African public service anyway. Lack of time management is one of the issues we are having, which affects our outputs and our work process. So that effective time management is one thing I have gained from the program. Also, in terms of my critical thinking ability, now I know that, yes, when we are looking at as a problem and trying to prefer solution, yeah, in between the black and the white we are looking at, there are some gray areas that seems inconsequential, but now that needs to be given adequate attention, so that by the time you provide a solution to a problem, you've done it in such an holistic way, and it won't be just so it's make it now. One is more proactive. I think better outside the box, and when I'm trying to look at doing some critical thinking, I look at it. I look at issues that are likely to come up after profiling a particular solution. So it has really enhanced my critical thinking ability. One other thing I would like to talk about is that in terms of my social capital now, the program has shored up my social capital base. What I'm trying to say is that I know now I have connections, I have relationships with more than 60 people from different levels of public service in the country, from practically every geopolitical zone of Nigeria, and even outside the shores of Nigeria. In our courts, of course, obviously we had Caroline from Kenya, we had John from Ghana. So now I'm talking about 68 highly efficient, intelligent, and seasoned public servants that I can always reach out to and collaborate with, whether personally or professionally. That's another thing I have gained from the program. And I like to say that the program should be recommended for every public servant who is in leadership position or is aspiring to be to get to the leadership position in the public service. It's a program that should be encouraged, because aside from these things I have talked about, it has also opened my horizon to the fact that quite a number of the solutions we have, the problems we have in Nigeria's public service actually require homegrown solutions. Now I look more inward into profiling solutions to issues at my place of work. And aside from my Capstone project, I'm already thinking of another intervention that can be done once I'm done with my Capstone project. And I think that is the thinking of a graduate of the AIG PLP program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is proof of renewed mind, a transformed mind, really. So the program, during the program, you don't only just attend classes. After the program, proof of what you've learned is a capstone project. So you are expected to look within your MDA to see if there's a challenge that you can provide solutions to, and then that now becomes your capstone project, with which you are now graded. So during the just graduated cohort, Ayodele Ajayi, he emerged with the best capstone project during his set. So now I have a question for you, Ayodele Ajayi. Your capstone project was awarded the best capstone within your cohort. So what was the project about? What inspired the project? And what impact do you see your project having on people or within your MDA?
Okay, good afternoon once again, everybody, and thank you so much for that question, Danny. Now, for context, to explain that by training, land administrator in the state government, so my job day to day in being the management resources for the state government. I know that land is a chief resource of Lagos State. It's scarce, expensive, and very, very valuable. So it needs to be secured, managed. So when I assumed my current position as Director of Technical in the Committee on Rehabilitation of Public Schools, I noticed a lot of encroachment on public school land. Now, this stemmed from the knowledge public schools basically do not have. So it was open game for unscrupulous individuals, land grabbers, land speculators, and all. We've seen instances where large chunks of land of public school have been carved out as individuals. All sorts of temporary, permanent, all sorts. So, thinking about it, I just thought that the state will need to come up with a legal framework to protect our learning spaces from all these activities. And when I now went further in my research, I found out that no public school in Lagos State had title as emergency. So these schools basically could not exercise ownership rights on their land. Now, logically, one would say, oh, why don't you just sell land and then just leave it? But we've seen more instances where people break this fence and encroach into this land and do all sorts. So before it became a source of embarrassment in Lagos State government, I thought of a way whereby land holding could be secured by issuing titles to each public school. We wrote a memo to Mr. Governor, and he bought into it, and we are in the process of sorting out these matters as it is. When we're talking about the impact, eventually it is going to be really impactful, and I dare say the scalability of this program wide, because I found that this we have in Lagos State happens all the country. Public lands taken over by unknown individuals, but the state governments are not doing anything about it. So Lagos State being the forebearer in this kind of thing, bring this matter forward. We're handling with the sensitivity and seriousness that it deserves. We're working in conjunction with all the involved, the Lands Bureau, Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Eco Planning and Urban Development, Office of the Surveyor General, Ministry of Education, SUBEB, the Lagos State House of Assembly has an input in this. Eventually, by the time we're done with this whole process, each school will be able to secure their land spaces legally. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's such a brilliant initiative. And that's really what the AIG Public Leaders Program seeks to achieve. So there's been the challenge all the while, but there was no inspiration or motivation to look in and see what can be done differently. So, I mean, coming from the program, is now seeing the challenge differently and he now wants to do something about it. That's really what the AIG Public Leaders Public Leaders Program rather is about. So if as a public sector worker, you also have, you also want to put your name in the sands of time, you want to be known for something that, or a change that you drove during your time, this is the program where you need the empowerment to drive change. Okay, I would also mention that for audience, for our attendees now, you can begin to send in your questions. I'm going on the final question, so you can begin to send in your questions, whatever questions you have about the application process, about the program itself, about the curriculum, you can begin to send them in now. So, Caroline, my question now is for you. Okay, yeah. So, being a non-Nigerian participant at the program, would you want to give us what your experience was like? I mean, during the class, and then what you gained from the program? What were your key takeaways from the program?
Thank you very much. It was a very good experience. I am glad that I signed up for the program. The learning environment was all inclusive, so I did not in any way feel like the issues that we were trying to address were only about Nigeria. I was really at home with the conversations, the common challenges that we face in public service, and just coming up with similar innovations that I carried and I also relate that they can happen at home. It was very practical, interacting with the academy and who came from the University of Oxford. And then, of course, we had the team back at Nigeria. It exposed me to new ideas and a new way of doing things. It was invaluable, and I think generally the conversations of just packaging it, that it's about Africa, that it is about what is happening across in one country is similar with what is happening in another, relating with the challenges, relating with the things that we can do and the positive change that we can all do, and just making it infectious around the continent. So, and of course, the experience at the physical classes, which was in Nigeria, was very nice. It was my first time to visit Nigeria. I enjoyed my stay there. I enjoyed learning about the country. I enjoyed even the opportunities that were coming in with the interactions, because beyond the classes that we were having, we'd more of like retreat back with the cohort, because the foundation had made arrangements that we were staying at one place. So it was easy to always pick up a conversation later. It was easy to network, like the way one of our panelists has just mentioned. It was easy to build networks and contacts, and even interrelate in terms of what are you doing back in your country? What is happening in your particular space? And one of the biggest phrases that I left Nigeria with is the conversation that our desks, where we are working from, is our little Nigeria. And of course, for me, relating it that what I am doing back home in my space, in my desk, is my little Kenya. So I think internalizing it from that angle and just looking at it, and the biggest question then is what we are doing, all of us, regardless of where we are serving from, is our small Africa and our contribution to the larger development and seeing the public service to the next level. I can't wait to see what holds for the cohort that we had. And of course, we also had the connection with the alumni. So even building beyond the contacts that we have already established really opens up to even a bigger opportunity to just network and take this to the next level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all the quality answers that our panelists have provided so far. So very quickly, we would move on to questions from our audience. I mean, some questions have started rolling in already. So I would bring up Namdi. Namdi is a programs associate at the foundation. He is the key person for the AIG Public Leaders Programme. So Namdi is here now. So we have a question here that says, when is the closing date for the application? So at what point can potential applicants begin to round up and close out?
Okay, applications close on the 30th of April. So that's when we'll close the portal for applications.
Okay, so I mean, this is about 18 days from now. So we can begin to wrap up our application and, send them right in. So that, I mean, like one of the panelists said, once it is, if we say we are closing the portal at 12 midnight, a second after is, I mean, that's till next year, literally. So we can begin to wrap up. Okay, so one question here says, what benefit can one derive from the program? So I think, Dele Ajayi, would you want to give us your perspective to this question? What do you think that participants will benefit from the program? Okay.
Now, I can answer that question.
We can't hear you.
Okay.
Yes, we can. We can hear you now.
Benefits of paying select program, it's huge. The mere fact that you will be amongst a selected few and network with is already advantage and an edge for you your office. I can guarantee you that if you're selected, and after it, you will become a transformed civil servant. The leaders in you will multiply in folds that you won't believe. You will be dealing with, you'll be handling scenarios that are everyday, but handling it like our professor told us, there is no perfect answer to any situation. You will learn how to tackle everyday situations in your office. You will learn how to network. You will even learn how to tell stories. How to tell stories when you get selected on this program. But the major thing for me, all the thoughts in your head, if you are an agent of nation, if you are in any public office, like the way things are at the moment, and you are ready to add your little bit to it, this thing, it will transform you and it will help make you the best public servant.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have another question that says, this is pertaining to the Capstone project. It says, must it be related to your current workplace? I think Namdi would want to give us answers to that.
Yes, it has to be related to your current place of work because you're addressing a gap in your organization. So it has to be related to your where you work, and because you're trying to, the end goal is to be able to cascade whatever projects you've done across the public sector in Nigeria. So you have to start from where you work first before you proceed to any other place. So that's why the Capstone project is supposed to be just to address a gap you've noticed, and you now move on after you've addressed that gap. Because we want you to address what is in your organization before you start addressing what is in other organization. So we're particular about it being in your organization.
Thank you. So it says, please, how soon should applicants expect a response and what should they look out for to know if they've been selected? Namdi.
So applicants have been shortlisted to get to the first stage, just write the CBT test to be notified in May. So if you are proceeding to the first stage of the screening process, will notify you in May. Like Dami had said before, we have a 3-tier selection process. So we start with the CBT computer-based test. If you get shortlisted, you do that. After that, we screen out from the CBT test. Then those who are successful write our essays. Then we have the last stage, which is our video interviews. So the final selection, those who get to the final selection will be notified in August. So that's when you will know.
Okay, so literally you can look out for mails in May. So if you get in through this first stage of the selection process, you get a mail in May. Okay, so this question says, why is there an age limit to the application? Namdi.
So we have an age limit on our applications because we want our participants to have more time to cascade their learnings across the organization. So we don't want to, not if I try to say, oh, you're too old, we just want participants who will be able to cascade their learnings, cascade their projects across the organization. They have to have at least some time to be able to do that.
Okay. So Zainab says, how long is the program? And my worry is juggling it with work.
It's, so it's 6 months. So we first start with a 1-week online sessions. Then you have asynchronous learning. So you can be able to match that with work because the 1 week you have to be online, but the other sessions you can come in and do it as you please. Then we have 1 week in-person programs. So most of our applicants have been able to juggle their work processes and the program at the same time. I think our other participants, our alumni that here can tell you that we don't make it that it's intensive, but we make it in a way that you can combine the work and the program at the same time.
Okay, I think it would be nice to also hear from a panelist.
Yeah.
So Ibrahim Madu, would you want to take us through how you were able to juggle the program with work?
Okay, for me, juggling it with work. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Juggling it with work for me, it entailed a lot of sacrifice because first of all, if you're given such an opportunity to undertake or to be part of this program with over about 14 or $15,000 scholarship, I think it's worth the while to sacrifice for it. And then for me, I wasn't privileged to be given leave like some people were given. So during the 1 week session, all I did was to just stay in my own office and ensure that, oh, I will not be available from this time to this time to enable me concentrate. And then for the asynchronous session, it was all about, oh, coming in the morning, just like do what I'm supposed to do, get some hours to be able to deliver whatever is expected of me. So that was what I was able to do. So basically, it's all about sacrifice. It's a program worth the while, as in the sacrifice and everything. You won't get it wrong at all. So it's about basically sacrifice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we'll take one more question if we have, and we can call it a day. Okay. So Jude says, what is the program training duration? I think we already spoke to that. That's for the 6-month program. So 1 week online, then the okay, yeah. So we've already answered the question. It's a 6-month period. So quickly, let's answer this question from Lara. It says, my application has been submitted and I also answered the pre-test question, but I received an email from Gladys that my application is yet to be completed. Please, what do I have to do?
We'll confirm and let you know about that, but I'm pretty sure there has been an issue with the application, but we'll confirm and let you know. Thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of questions from the audience. So if we have more questions, I mean, you can always visit our website. We have a FAQ section in the website that provides answers to whatever question that you may have. So to wrap up now, we would have Nelly to just give us highlights of the program as we close out.
Your answers were very brilliant. I had to take notes. So just for takeaways for those who are yet to apply, those who are already in the process of application, I took down some notes when they were answering these questions. And in answering, basically what the application process tries to do to you is to stir your can-do spirit. What is that thing you know you can do? The training basically puts you back in the mood to want to see change. It takes you out of that place of just being comfortable with the way situations are and makes you understand that you can do something about it. And so in writing your application, I took down this: be authentic. Be authentic. Do not try to cook up. And one of the beautiful things, like the participants had said, is that there is no cutting corners with it. It's a straightforward process. Just be authentic. We want to see you. And then follow instructions. Yes, to the latter, follow instructions. Make sure that whatever you are told to do, whatever format your applications are supposed to come in, ensure to follow it to the teeth. Be thorough. Be thorough. I think one of the things one of the participants said here that stood out very strongly is that you are going for a public leaders program. Your application shouldn't look like someone who has not even started following, not to talk of leading. So your application carries your image and it should be thorough. Then put your best foot forward. Don't forget that there are a lot of people who are competing to be in this same place that you aspire to be. The Public Leaders Program has immense benefit to offer to people. Those who have participated from the program are not given enough time, but they will tell you about it. The program is rich, and it is a highly recommended program for any public leader. So please do well to visit our website and check out our FAQ section to answer every other question that you have. And there's also an inquiry email address on the website that you can send mails to, and like you've heard, we'll be prompt to respond to you. Thank you very much. Please ensure that you finish your application process. Ensure that anyone who is supposed to be on this program but missed it, very good thing with internet, it is being recorded. You can later on follow up and have all your queries responded to. Thank you so very much. It's been an awesome time.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. It was an awesome period. Thank you.
Kwaheri.